see. Okay, we're live in one place. Oh, I'm kind of crazy. There, nope, not yet. I had to do one button. Let's see. Hey, okay. Looks like people are signing on now. So we'll give it a little,
Cool.
just a second or so, and we'll see if we get a few more. I am so excited. So
Yeah, I'm excited too.
is this I just when I saw this pattern, so I'll wait a minute. All right, we're getting some folks on. That's good. And I'm recording it, so I'll put it out there on our the YouTube.
Yeah, I'm
All
excited.
right,
I'm
everyone.
excited to show
I
everyone what you've
I can't
got.
wait. So right now we'll go ahead and get started. I think we've got folks coming in on Instagram and then obviously YouTube and Facebook. However, but I saw this shawl and everyone knows or pretty much knows that I'm a nut for sign pooling. So I carry it on my truck everywhere. If no one else has it, they know I've got it. But I see that it's kind of coming back a little bit. So I saw a couple other dyers at a recent show have some that I'm usually the only one. So when I saw yours, I said, oh. So I'm really excited about it, Xandy. It's just something fun. And but before we go any further, I was going to introduce or let you introduce yourself. Everybody knows who you are, but I wanted to say that I met you in Maine with Christine on that first trip. So I've loved your classes. I follow you, and so the minute I thought about, it, I said I've got to ask him, and I even said, Keith, do you think he will? And he said, oh yeah, he will. So I called, reached out. So turn it over to you, Xandy. Just introduce yourself.
Well, first of all, thank you for reminding me of that trip to Maine because I don't know if you remember, but the cookies that they had
Yes.
were just so good. The food at that facility at Haystack School was amazing because it
It
was all
was
like home cooked. Well, like not home, but it
fresh.
was like family style and really fresh and really amazing. So that's actually one of the best food experiences I've had. But aside from that, meeting in Maine, I'm so excited to be here because I have been waiting for so long to show people this project. It's been a secret for it was a secret for like over a year because a while ago, I was actually at Vogue Knitting Live, and in my life, I'm a knitting teacher. I design knitting patterns. And so I travel and I teach in a lot of places and I meet a lot of people. And I was teaching my classes at Vogue Knitting Live, and I met a dyer there from Canada, and she showed me this yarn, a specific color, and it just looked like a flower, right? And so we started talking, and immediately I was like, so I'm going to make you something with a sign pooling that has a flower, right? And as we started to talk about this color, like in the back of my head, I knew Keith has this orchid collection. He's like really like a lot of people actually I've found out. I design these botanical looking things sometimes and I don't really garden. But a lot of people in knitting, especially those who enjoy color, do a lot of gardening. So I knew that about him. So of course, because Karen's yarn from Feisty Fibers up in Canada inspired the original piece, we launched with hers first, but very shortly after I went to Keith and I was like, how do you feel about making some orchid colors so that your flowers can become part of this pattern that's all based around these little flower shaped baubles of a sign pooling that pop off the work. And, you know, I haven't seen what all of his colors are going to look like yet in the little flowers, but this is my sample, and it's pretty actually kind of close to what you're making.
Yes.
So the sample that Angie has is gray with a purple. Yeah, it's
It
kind of like a
looks
similar
great.
light gray, but with a different color. So yeah, it's really pretty. So each of the little flowers is made where that purple color comes through. And the reason that I talk about developing this yarn specifically is because when I finally got to the point where I had this assigned pooling colorway that I was working with, when I finally developed this flower bauble, there was a problem. There wasn't enough color in the standard assigned pooling yarn to make it work. So if you've tried assigned pooling yarn before or an assigned pooling project, this one's a little different because it's a much longer space. You can't see the skein there,
That's
but
about.
I got one. This is
You want me to
maybe
take
the
one out?
regular assigned pooling. Yeah, if you've got one, it kind of, yeah, this is a regular assigned pooling skein, and that's not it. So it's a much longer area.
It's about 22 inches, I think, or so.
Yeah, it's about 22 inches of color to make that flower because there are a lot of stitches in it. So it ends up eating a lot of your skein, and that's why the shawl does, it's a nice size with two skeins. Because like the 22 inches of yarn, they become a flower, then it's, you know, you get a little thing. So with the two skeins, it's great because it also gave us the opportunity to like fade the flowers in slowly by alternating, which I also like. This project was a lot of fun because I did a bunch of stuff that I don't usually do.
How did you do? What did you do?
So with this, since you've started yours, you've probably seen how the fade works. And I think fades, we think of them like, Andrea Mowry, Find Your Fade and stuff. But when we were working on this project, because you need more than one skein and the assigned pooling yarn, it eats up so much of the skein for the flower. I didn't want it to be all over texture. And it's kind of like, it's a lot of work to make one. It's overwhelming to have them all over the place. So like by fading from a solid color, the same way that those fade patterns are done, where you do like a stripe in one, a stripe in the other, back and forth, and then eventually, you go from all solid to back and forth a little bit, and then even more of that color with the flowers, and then all the color with the flowers, so they kind of slowly come in, but then you don't have to, make them all across the whole thing.
I think that was brilliant because I read the pattern all the way. It's pretty cool.
So here's what I'll back up so you can kind of see the effect. But it really does. It saves you a little work, but it also gives it a nice effect. And the reason I say it was exciting, I don't usually do this, is because I don't know why I never thought, oh, well, if I just alternate an assigned pooling yarn, right, with the matching solid, I can control how much of the feature, like whether it's a plain bauble in just regular assigned pooling yarn, or if it's a flower in this special yarn. It allows you to control it. And I really hadn't thought about that before. So now I'm really excited to try that with other assigned pooling techniques. Right? Because like once you have the pattern, if you get the kit with the special flower yarn, that's cool. But then maybe you want to make the next one. It can be a flower. It can be whatever you want. I'm just saying.
Exactly.
It can be whatever works with your yarn. So the idea of that fade, I actually almost like in itself, separate from and aside from the flower. Like I like that on its own. The flowers are cool, but I thought it was just fun. And I also don't usually work in ribbing.
Yeah.
So I thought it was kind of like, I usually use garter stitch because it's
Well, I've not done anything other than garter or just stockinette, but and it's getting easier. I'm getting it down because I think it's 4 or 5. I can't remember right this minute, but I'm getting it down to where I don't have to look at the pattern.
The lines, the rows it's an 8-row repeat.
It's an 8-row. Okay.
And so it's a little weird at first. The other thing I like about the pattern is that it makes a great basic shawl.
Yeah.
If you don't put the flowers in, and I've been wanting to make myself one just like for winter. I know where you are, it's a lot warmer, but me for winter in a heavy yarn, to see what that does. And I like the ribbing because the pattern's kind of intuitive. So if you forget where you are, well, it's ribbing. Like
absolutely.
Two and two and two and two. So you don't have to worry about that too much. It does have an I-cord edge on one side to keep it like from stretching out. And the ribbing is also there for a reason when you get to the flowers, which I don't think you've gotten to yet
I'm
unless
not
you
there yet.
swatch.
I tried, but I'm not.
So I don't like to work these on a pearl side. So if it's
Ah,
going to be double-sided, it's either going to be something like garter stitch or something like, I also really don't like when stuff curls. So stockinette's not an option. It's going to curl.
got it.
Um, so it could be moss stitch, but whatever it was, it had to be something where there were going to be knits and pearls in each row. It couldn't have a row of all pearl ever.
Okay. Okay.
Because if I was purling all the way across, I'd have to do a flower on a
Right.
pearl.
Right.
And I don't want to do a flower on a pearl. So the ribbing allows you, when it instructs you to do a flower, you just have to get to the spot where there are 2 knit stitches in a row.
Mm-hmm.
And the closest one to where the color starts. So you have an opportunity to always work the flower on the knit side, which was important to me.
Exactly. I think that makes a difference because otherwise it's just everything else was just when it color changes. So it's got to be
Mhm.
on the right side row. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, I'm working on some stuff with the same yarn, like
Yeah, that's what I was going to
the
ask
same
you.
yarns can be used for other projects. So we've got the garland.
Yes, I know
Um,
mine.
so when you have leftovers, because
This
you'll
is yeah.
probably have a
Yeah,
little
this is
bit
just
left
regular
over.
yarn because I wanted to just kind of immediately start to play with it a little bit. And
Mhm.
that's why you can't see it popping. But
But then, yeah, I have.
now, do you feel, I mean, the tightening of this part right here, I see that. I don't know if I'm doing that right or wrong, but
So the weird part about the garland, because this, if in case you're wondering, this garland that we're holding up is a free pattern that you can download, and it shows you how to do the flowers in kind of like a practice
yeah.
setting, just as a fun thing that you can try. So the idea is like you cast on, you do an I cord, and then you make a flower just to practice. So as you're
And I
going,
encourage you to do that just for the hell of
yeah, it's very helpful because it's also it's fun. You don't have to worry about like
it.
I always worry about messing up my yarn or something, and you don't have to worry. It's not like, you know, it's big enough to see pretty well if you do it in worsted. But one of the things that happens with the I cord that doesn't happen in the project as much is like it can stretch out that initial stitch because when you make the flower, they're all coming out of one.
Yes.
So that stitch can get a little bit more stretched out in the I cord until you block it and stretch it like horizontally, like the long way. Whereas in the shawl, that stitch doesn't get as stretched out
Okay. Okay.
because it's not under as much, it's not the same with the tension and stuff, or at least for me, it didn't. But blocking helps it. So
Okay.
they also kind of hang off the side of the cord, whereas on the fabric, they poke out, like they have to face
I love it.
out because there's nowhere to go. So they look a little different, but once you block them, they have these little petals, and I think that they're a lot of fun.
It was fun to practice just, because I didn't have the yarn yet. So I was just like, okay, I'm going to practice because I got to learn how. And I was pleasantly surprised how well I know it. I memorized it. It was very easy to memorize how to do it. Of course, you got to play with it a little bit. I saw
Yeah.
you talk about maybe one extra stitch or making an extra row, a flower. Sometimes it just depends on also the yarn too. When we go to get it to the color, if you have enough room to make another
Hmm.
row on it. So it's kind of cool. Well, I taught. It's funny when you showcased it, came out. I immediately texted Keith and said, "Listen, I love your pooling yarn, and I think this would work great for you. Can you, can we do something?" He said, "I already know. I've been in with Xandy for a year." So I said, "Oh my gosh." But our minds were thinking the same because
So
I
Keith
mean,
was there the night that I got the yarn that inspired it.
yeah,
And I think I may have actually gone straight over to him and be like, I think I need to make a flower assigned pulling pattern, like at some point that evening. Like I
yep,
think he literally knew about it the moment
yeah.
it started. But I just was fascinated to learn that he has that collection of flowers. Like it's serious. Orchids are not a joke.
No,
Um,
I'm not going to tell him how I messed up mine. So I'll let him grow the orchids and I'll just sell his yarn. How about that? But they're
yeah.
serious. I mean, he's
Mhm.
unbelievable about doing that. So, but I
Yeah.
think that's cool that you do a lot of nature, and you don't garden, but you get the colors. It's important.
Yeah, and so I've been doing a lot of work on other things recently with leaves in them, and I've been experimenting with the yarn. So I think it's kind of always fun to show. If
Oh,
the
wow.
pattern, it's really hard to see this on a camera because
Yeah,
it's so
but I
dark,
see some
but see
brioche.
the leaves
No,
with
it's a
branches?
leaf.
So I've been experimenting with the brioche stitch and little
Ah,
flowers on top, and this one's much easier to see.
that's gorgeous.
The only thing with the brioche is that I feel a little bit like by using the yarn with the flowers on top of a like an intricate pattern, it
Yeah,
obscures it where I like the brioche a lot, but I
right.
think I put it on plain.
Yes.
Like I actually feel like I would just as much like making something like this
Hmm.
as just taking that yarn kit and putting it into a brioche project. Um, like pair it up with two skeins of something dark, and then
Hmm.
you have a brioche. And once you see how the pattern works, you know how the fade works. And that's what's been really cool about this. There are a lot of potential projects where once you know how that flower works,
Yeah,
you've got this special yarn that tells you everything you need to know, right?
right.
So if you have some left over after the pattern and you want to say make a little like stem of flowers around a hat,
You
and
got
you've
that.
got like 10 grams of yarn left, you take that and you knit around while making flowers, and then you purl around, and you've
Right.
got a little garter stem with flowers coming off of it. And the
Ah,
yarn's doing all the work, right?
that's right.
All you have to do is put a stripe, and
There you
suddenly it's
go.
got flowers coming off of it. So I think
Exactly.
it's got so much potential, like outside of that, like all of Don Barker's assigned pooling patterns and all of like Michelle Bernstein's assigned pooling patterns, because she has some that have brioche with them. Like everyone's look a little different, and there's so much potential. So I'm kind of hoping that maybe some other people will take the flower thing and run with it
Yeah.
in other directions too, because it's a lot of fun to try them.
That's exactly right. Well, it's fun. Like I said, with the 20, I didn't realize it was a little bit longer till you started talking because I was going to use something that I had of Keith's that was one of his from another kit that he had sent me for a shawl that used before sign pooling got hot, it was dipped. So I knew that we could use it. But then I saw, oh, I don't think it's long enough to do that flower. But it would have been, I don't know what would have happened, have little white tips on it or something. Would use some of the yarn. I haven't done it, seen it with it, when you run out of the color, what would happen.
It basically, you want to see, because I think I
Sure.
have it, I might have ripped it out.
That's all right.
Um, but yeah, I ripped out. But um, it basically like it blends in with the background more, so you kind of see a few petals and then you see
You
some
don't.
texture.
Got it.
Um, and I'm looking around because, well, I have some examples of solids and stuff. Like it doesn't need to be,
That looks good. I was going to
it's a
try
little
that.
swoosh, but it doesn't need to be like a contrast color to be um
Yeah,
like
so it could be
visible,
texture.
because they're
Yeah,
so textural. Like again,
yeah.
these have been crumpled up in a box for a little bit,
But those are
but
pretty.
like you get enough of a shadow there
Yeah,
that you can do it with pretty low contrast. If you don't have, that's one of the things, if you don't have the yarn and you want to do it, like um it just doesn't have any of the placement.
right,
So
right.
it for this pattern it doesn't really work out. But like if you want to try the flowers,
Yeah,
definitely go try them
exactly.
with your stash at home. And then you can see that like they're tedious, they take a while, but
Hmm.
they're not actually that hard.
Right, right. They're not. Well, I was going to show everyone the rest of the colors that I have from Keith. So they're on my website. And then to tell you, this is the softest yarn in the whole world. It's Superwash Merino 75, 15 mulberry silk, and then 10% cashmere. So this is some Yummy, yummy, yummy stuff. That's why I had to put this down because I couldn't roll it up really pretty again. But this one
Mhm.
comes with another gray. So that's called Desert Rose. And then this is
And that,
Keith, and this is Keith's uh, Orchid 520 is what he calls it. And I can't say it. Masei Simi Alba is the name of the orchid. So this has got some pretty, really cool colors in that.
and
So,
those multicolors will show up in the flower. I don't have any of Keith's yarn swatched with me, but I
right.
can show you. I just took it out, right? I can show you what it looks like when you have multiple colors in here it is in the flower, because it has a really interesting effect. So that desert rose color, if
Yeah.
you look at right here, this flower
Oh,
right
yeah.
here
It's
is
got,
blue and green at the same time. So some of them are solid and some of them aren't. That's the effect that you're going to get with these
oh, I
assigned
can't wait.
pulling yarns that have like the orange and pink, or the one that the orchid one, yeah, that with
Look at all those
the yellow.
colors.
Yeah, so they're gonna look like they have a lot more going on in the petals, and I think they're actually gonna really look like the orchids. Like, I'm excited to see
Yes.
some, especially the purple with the yellow, is going to look like a real orchid.
I know this is going to have all the, oh, it's just the pink. And then we go into this and then the yellow. I'm going to try to take it. Oh my gosh, it's got beautiful yellow. That's going to
Yeah,
be
that
beautiful.
yellow is really popular color right now too.
I know. And yellow used to be a hard color to sell for people. I don't know why, but I love it. And look at that. That's going to be gorgeous. And this one's got the pinks, various pinks. It's more, I forgot what this one's a peony is what he calls it. But it's got a lot of pink. But I love the multicolors. I think
And
that.
they're
But I'm
both
a
gonna
wild
look
purple
good. They're
fan.
different options for you.
Yeah, they're beautiful. They're beautiful. Now, what are you planning on doing? You said you've got some other things in the works for this particular bauble. Are you?
Yeah.
When should we
So I've
expect
got
those?
some, yeah, I've got some stuff planned for fall. I'm working on ideas right now. I'm actually working on some really crazy other baubles. So under my
Oh,
desk is a brioche project. So what's this is what I've been working on most.
oh my
So this
gosh!
has to be ripped out. If you look at this is what happens when I'm in the middle of a design. It's got pieces coming off of it that are not
Wow!
attached properly on the back. Like, it's half bound off in some areas. So
Oh my
this has to be
gosh!
all ripped back to here and reknit
Ah,
with this motif. So that's what I'm working on right now in the office.
God, that is
And
so intricate.
it's also flowers, which is so interesting because I don't garden. So I've been enjoying that project though because it's been on my needles for so long.
Uh huh.
I started it before COVID and I just couldn't work out the border, which is why it's got 3 different borders. So that's what I've been wrapping up finally, because I've been working with someone to figure out how we're gonna finish up the edge. But it's obviously a really different kind of project to work on in terms of attention span,
Yeah.
because when I'm working on stuff, I like to have two things going on, and usually it's one that I have to think about what like I'm reading a pattern, and one that is more like mindless. And with the assigned pooling, the colors telling you the instructions. You
Right.
don't once you know, and by the time you get to the color, you're gonna know how the ribbing works. The hardest part for me was remembering that one side has an I-cord edge and it's not just ribbing, but like the color tells you the rest of the stitch. So you end up being able to take this thing around where it's like highly portable. It's not like totally mindless, but it's like you don't have to be focused on it, so that if I'm not up for that, I can do
Yeah.
something
That's not
else.
TV knitting. Oh
Yeah,
gosh.
it depends on what kind of TV. You have to, like, there's a complexity scale. Actually, this would be a good
Uh huh.
meme to make, where it's like the knitting, there's only a set amount of complexity in your life. And so the television plot and the knitting have to match each other.
Exactly. That's a
So
good way
like,
to put it.
yeah, we can sometimes do some TV, but honestly, I haven't knit something this complex in a while. Like on this scale, I haven't done this kind of brioche in a while. And it's almost its own entertainment.
I wouldn't think brioche would be entertaining at all, but I finally I finally got it at Maine when I took Kelly's. Now I took Keith's, I got it. It was a single color. I got it. But my dog loved it too. So when I wasn't using it, she took it apart. So I didn't go back to it. And it was frustrating. But a light turned on with Keith. But then when I went, I think her name's Kelly. Was it Kelly? I think her name. I can't remember her name. That's terrible. Sophisticated. No.
I'm trying to.
Oh, my brain. I can see her name.
Was it the British lady?
The blonde. You know her.
Oh, wait.
Gosh, I can't think.
Why? I'm totally forgetting who is.
Devious Knitter. Devious Knitter?
Oh, Amy.
Yeah, Amy.
Right, Amy was there.
So I got it. She did 2 color, okay? And I was going at it, and then I messed that up. So it's still sitting in a box. But I get it, but it's just not my brain. I have to stick with that. That's not something I can put down and not come back to it. So I
hear that all the time. I hear that a lot. And one of the things that's really interesting to me is I hear from people in my brioche class all the time. Oh, I took this with so-and-so, and then I took it with so-and-so, and I took it. And at first I'll get nervous, like, oh, is it that difficult for you? And they'll say, no, I did this project and then I didn't do it for a while. So I had to take a class and then the project, and then they don't do it for a while. And it's kind of like a common thing where people learn it. And then if you don't do it, you forget it, because it's almost like a different system completely. It looks different than all the other knitting. It took me a really long time to figure out.
And some teachers, you're going to learn something from each one. And then the one it's going to be one that turns the light bulb that pulls it all together, and you're like, oh, I get it now. But then you put it down, and then you have to start over. I was bound and determined not to put that thing down in Maine because I wanted to finish, and I thought I could. So, but how long does it take you? I mean, you worked on this project a year. What made it that long, or is that typical?
Taxes. I hate to say this, but we had some changes of imports and exports, and because I was working with a Canadian company, it was more like a 6-month timeline, and then stuff shifted, and we were like, oh, we have to like actually figure out what the supply chain looked like. It was entirely just taxes.
Okay.
Like logistics. It wasn't like that complicated a project. It actually went pretty smoothly. Besides, import export law being confusing, and like that's always, as a small business, I never feel like I have adequate warning of when things are happening. Like they changed the law on what we can import to the European Union a while ago. I still, I'm like, I will send them digital files, and that's good because it's confusing. So yeah, it took us a while to sort that out.
Yeah.
But of course, like Keith's in Florida, so
that's
simpler. But yeah, and on most of my projects, if they kind of take a long time, a lot of it is just where I've reached a point where I'm not sure what the solution is, and there's plenty to keep working on. So I put it down, move on. And then when I have an idea, like with this brioche thing, I design a lot of brioche stuff, and every once in a while something doesn't work for one thing and it works for another. So if I've got something good, I just put it aside, let it rest. Within my eyesight, I have 5 current brioche projects that are on 7 current brioche projects that are on 1.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. The one under the desk. They're 4 and 5 in bags over there. and there's a 6 in the cart. Like there's just brioche everywhere, right?
Oh my
So
gosh.
I'm not lacking. It's just whatever gets finished first, right?
Okay.
Because like a lot of things don't become patterns. They just
Right.
like they don't work out. Some of these things that I'm working on, I have already decided they don't look like they look fine as a swatch, but they don't fit a pattern
Okay.
like idea for what shape they'd want to be, right?
Right.
So like,
Right.
is this a scarf? Is this a hat? Like, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So it gets put aside, and then eventually sometimes they get picked up. So that's why sometimes there are these long timelines, and people are like, you don't work very quickly. It's like, well, sometimes I do,
Yeah.
sometimes not.
Right. Right.
So
Well, what's your
yeah,
favorite thing what piece of garment do you like, or accessory do you like to make the most, or design the most?
I don't know. I really like designing stitches most.
That's
So
it. Okay.
anything flat, like I like when I can design the stitch work that goes into something. And so it often ends up being because I that's why I do a lot of accessories. It ends up being the shape of the thing. Like
Okay.
this, so the stitch kind of can determine
So you
that
see the
sometimes.
stitch, and then it turns into a garment or whatever it's going to
Yeah.
be.
So like
Okay.
I have a sweater on my needles and I don't do as many of those because there's just more work involved. But I like making them even if I don't like designing them for multiple sizes. Like it's enough math.
Yeah.
And checking for one. But like for the scarves that I do, I like to make those because I like the stitch that I'm using. And then I
Okay.
put it into whatever shape makes sense for that stitch. Or
Okay.
like if there's a hat with an interesting construction, that's kind of fun. And those have plenty of sizes to deal with anyway. Like
Right.
because I like to fit like kids and adults and stuff. So, there's plenty to do with that, but I really like anything where I can just play around with what stitches people are using, which usually ends up being a flat piece of fabric.
I like that.
Um, but you know, I like to design stuff and just kind of put it in a box if it looks like something that might be used in more complex, like shaped garments someday. Just put that aside and say that's there for when I need to pull something out that works in that context, right? Because I've got all these. You saw before I went on that I've got a shoebox filled
Yes.
with like flowers. So like there's a shoebox of yarn. Some of it's skeins, some of it's all sorts of things, but with all swatches in it. And so this will be like a topic, and that goes in the closet when I'm done. So whatever doesn't end up turning into a real project, it just kind of sits. And then when I'm not feeling like there's anything interesting going on, but it's time to make something, I go back into the box and I pull something out. So like those things sit around for years. They don't, some of them go nowhere. And like they're sorted by date.
Wow.
And like there are books on the shelf, same thing. There are ideas in there for brioche things. And like if I ever need some, I can't run out of ideas because I have too many that I never finished.
Right.
Like
Right.
there's more there. So and as styles change, I get
Sure.
to use stuff that I wouldn't usually have done. So like everyone's making little scarves now.
Yes.
And like in 2008, when I was like first starting to look at stuff like this, or 2010, I don't know, it's so long ago. That time we were making little shawlettes, if you remember,
Yes.
like one skein projects,
Mm-hmm.
and that they just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And now I feel almost freer with the small things coming back because
Yeah.
it's so big that it's that big. I can make a blanket because those are what the shawls that are that big in my life are doing. They're the blanket. They're on the couch. I'm not even joking. They're on the bed. Like they're blankets. They're for, but you also like maybe I have some ideas where I was like, oh, this would look great making a little thing like this, but that wasn't really what people were wearing. So it's, sitting in a cabinet. And now things like that are being worn more. So I can have like simple brioche kind of like skinny scarves that
Yeah.
maybe were designed 5 years ago, but no one was gonna make that
Yeah.
then. So I kind of
Yeah.
like that things have shifted a bit. Also, it seems a little faster to knit.
Yes, yes. I've done a few of
Um,
these the ones that are like kerchiefs, I guess,
mhm,
because they're
mhm.
quick, and I can do the samples that quick. But otherwise, that's not.
And it gives you like, um, I don't know. There are a lot of reasons I think people are into them, but it gives you something where like maybe you don't have the time in your life to do something complicated
Mm-hmm.
that's really big, but you can do a little bit of complicated. Or maybe you just don't have the time in your life to do something that's big.
Right. It's a
But I
cute
think that'll,
gift too. You can make it quicker, like
mhm,
you said. Something homemade for somebody. So or
mhm.
handmade.
Yeah, especially now that they're becoming more mainstream fashion,
Mm-hmm.
that happens. I don't know if you remember like the hipster era, like triangular scarf thing that went from like shawls, people wearing their shawls with the point front, and all of
Mm-hmm.
a sudden it was like in Madewell and like hipsters were doing it, and it was like, oh, that's interesting. So like it kind of can, I don't know if it's from the craft and knitting world or if we're just doing the same things at the same time in fashion, but it kind of is nice when you can hand make something that people like, it's also in style, you know?
Well, what was it? The 80s? I don't know. I know that I used to wear scarves tied to my neck. I
So,
remember that that was a huge thing for where I had to wear a suit to work, and that was the thing. And now I see that I'm like, it does repeat itself. It's just in a different, you know, form at sometimes. So
and that's what I've been actually wearing. So I've been getting these rings for
yes,
these little,
yes, you're
so
the one that turned, and I
yes.
have a hard time
So
doing
if
it.
you haven't tried this, first of all, this is not a bangle because it's like it's not the right shape. Like it could like hurt you if you hit your arm with this on. It's sharp, but this is like one of the bigger rings, and like it's the size of a bangle. So you have one of these in your house, right? And so you put something on, and then you can just take the ring. And the reason I thought of this is because my grandmother had one of these like scarf rings for wearing your little like
Yes.
scarf. And I was like, well, if everyone's wearing little
Which they
scarves,
wore
why
them
don't we
that
take
way.
out the ring?
Yes.
So here's one way, but you'll also see these like buckles, and you can like little Boy Scout like rings. I
Yes.
think that's what my grandmother's is from like Girl Scouts. It's like a
Uh-huh.
like to hold the
Yeah.
scarf. And like that's
I don't
what
want to
I've
ask how
been
old your grandmother is, but
really excited about
because we're
recently. And
probably the same
it's
age.
kind of funny, but I've been enjoying getting these like wild,
I know. I've
weird.
seen that on your show. That's
It's like,
awesome.
yeah. But you can just use something like
Show
a
me how to do
ring.
the one with the ring in it, with
Yeah, the ring is like,
no, not the one with the bar in it.
oh, the bar.
Yes, because
The bar is
I
really
am
even
perplexed.
easier. Yeah, so this is like it's a belt. It
Okay.
even has a notch.
Oh yes.
So
Okay.
this is, I go and I source these from like a garment district, like place where they do like
Oh yeah.
their like vintage and all interesting stuff. It's a little weird with the flowers because you have to pull it through and
Yeah.
sometimes they kind of get stuck. But you put it like, there are a few ways actually. You can put them in the same direction through,
Okay. All
and
right.
then you pull.
Okay.
So
Oh, you tied it. Okay.
yeah,
Got it.
it like
Got it.
goes, or you could put
Oh.
them like opposing,
Okay.
or if it's really bulky, you can just stick it through like I did with the other ring.
And it just
Yeah,
stays
I haven't
tied.
really put any information about these up. I did
Yeah.
like an article on the others, but I haven't put videos of these really
Yeah.
because they're new. And but it's super fun because you can just use like
That
um
changes the whole look.
you find all sorts of things at like vintage, like if you're a vintage shopper or a thrift store shopper, you can find all sorts of interesting old buckles, and they each look like pretty different, like they have a personality sometimes. So it's really fun if you just make a lot of plain stuff. Like I wouldn't mix these with something, like I wouldn't put this with something
Yeah. That's
too
gotta be
fancy, but like it also, this one happens to be like it has a plain side too. I
exactly.
should I have to post on my website because I didn't even think of it. But um, like
Oh, you
they're
not got
kind of
another
fun.
trip now. When I go looking, I'm going to be paying attention when I go out.
Mhm. And they're just kind of like belt sized,
Yeah,
pretty much. So, and it works. Different fabrics need different things. Some of the ones that I've gotten are really enormous and they feel like they're going to be crazy, but then you put it on, and if it's a chunky winter scarf, it actually just keeps like it keeps it on you. And I'm not a big fan of shawl pins and stuff.
right.
But these haven't bothered me as much. But I think it's because the little scarf is such a big, like the little things are such a big trend that um like this, that's why I'm designing this, because I wanted something that really is kind of like a cute little brioche that works with that. You just tie it in front and it's so small, like
That's
it's
cute.
really
Yeah,
like one of those scarves. It's going to be a little
it's
longer than I
adorable.
wanted, but it's like if you tie it in a knot, it takes up more yarn. So
Yeah,
I don't know. But yeah, they're fun. I
right.
think that people sometimes just want something fun and little, but that's why with this floral uh, shawl, the floral bouquet shawl, one of the things that is kind of fun about the pattern is that you can adjust the size. I've given you like the guidelines to get what you need for the skeins that you have. But if you're into the smaller look right now and you want something little, you can make it that big.
Right, right. That
Like,
makes it. Yep, there
I
you
mean, this
go.
is a little too small, but you
Right.
can scale it. So it gives you a little bit of freedom there. If you want to scale it up, you have to get 2 kids.
That's good. I
But
love it. Well, what else
um,
do you have going on? Are you going to be out and about this year or the rest of the year, or where are you going to be?
that's a really good question. My
Oh,
next travel is to California, I think.
oh, wow.
How about you? Where is your next?
Right now, I'll be heading to Charlotte in no, August, which is going to be very hot.
That's very
And
hot.
then some retreats that are coming up that are going to take me different places. But I'm trying to think. Oh, and then we'll have our North Carolina, which I call it our Rhinebeck. Rhinebeck. It's in Asheville, and it's called SAFF, SAFF,
Oh,
South
I didn't realize that was in Asheville.
Yes, it's right out. It's right. It's in Fletcher, which is just at the airport, Charlotte Airport. It's right there, and I'm not
That sounds
Charlotte,
fantastic.
Asheville Airport. It's right there, um,
Yeah, my parents used to live in Asheville.
and it's three
Um,
days. So that's the next big event that I'll be at. So,
huh.
and then I'm gonna go to Rhinebeck to do with some friends to just go and look and have some fun. So, are
Well,
you
I'll be
going there
there
this year?
too.
Okay, good.
So
Are
if
you
you
doing
bring,
anything?
we could always have a little meetup if people are
Yeah.
going with their shawls,
Oh
right?
yeah.
If people are watching this and you plan on making a shawl, maybe we should have a little meetup.
Absolutely.
Now, I will say, of the groups that we have making these, they are all over the world right now.
Yeah.
So we're thinking about maybe having a little, like, maybe a cast on party or something, or like a show and tell party,
Yeah.
because there are dyers all over the world making these yarns, and there are people knitting all over the world. And
That's
it's just
awesome.
kind of fun. So maybe we should have a meetup at Rhinebeck. I don't
I
know.
think that would be good.
We should
Awesome.
think about that.
All right, we will. Absolutely.
Um, yeah, especially if you have yours done. Like
Yeah.
I'll
Oh, I'll
probably
have
have
mine
mine with
done.
me.
It's going to Florida with me. I'm going down there for a few days, so I'm taking that and nothing else because I want to get moving on it. So you know how it gets. You go one da 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 da. But are you going to flock? Is that work? No, it's too early for
I'm
flock.
not, it's across the country. It's
Yeah.
far. And I
Yeah.
say that like it's funny to me because so I knit I cast this on and on a cruise in Alaska, and it went down to Canada, and then it went over with me to Munich, and it came back. Like, so these travel with me because this was a great one. I kind of, knowing that my timeline when we had these like financial things to sort out,
Yeah.
the deadline was really long. So I just only took this when I was traveling because it's a great travel project for planes.
Right.
So it also has been to the Netherlands. It's been to Germany. Well, it's been to Germany twice.
Okay.
and it's been to Switzerland. So um, it's seen so much travel so far. It's pretty funny to me. But I have pictures of it all over the world.
Now, do you oh, I forgot. This is my senior moment. Hold on. You said something about, oh, have you done any retreats or teaching at any of them lately, or you got plans to?
Yeah, the next thing I think that I am doing like that is I'm teaching in California in the fall.
Okay.
I'm I did, as you heard, I did a bunch of travel and I've got some really exciting stuff coming up with some more um like potential international stuff, but like in terms
Ooh.
of the US, California is up next and then Rhinebeck happens. I thought about going to Wisconsin Sheep and Wool. Have you ever been to that?
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
I want to go. It looks nice.
Yeah.
Um, there are some different and interesting businesses out there, and mills and like new things going on, farmers, all of those shows have farmers that you don't get to see anywhere else. You have to
Right.
show up where they are.
Yeah.
So, um, but I don't think I'm gonna do that. But yeah, California I think is and Rhinebeck. There's something else going on that I want to announce, but it's
Yeah.
just not,
So we just have to
until
follow
stuff
you
is
and just wait,
all
right? Okay.
uh but if people go look, if you look at my website, you can always see where I'm going next. I try to have
Okay.
those things up. So as they kind of, go up, the big thing that we're talking about now is actually 2027, a trip to
Yeah.
Portugal. So
Ooh.
and that's going to be a cruise. So if people like
Wow.
that sort of thing, I think it's a
Yeah.
great way. I never thought I would do that. I know Keith does them too.
Yeah. I haven't. I guess I've done one cruise a long time ago, but lately, Christine and I are actually planning our 2027. Well, we've got it. It's just got announced, but we're going back. She comes here. I got her to go to North Carolina, and so she has done one. We've done two, and now this will be our third one. But we're doing it a whole week, but there are two sessions in in the week. So we've got for Kyle, Kaneki is going to be there, and then Ann Weaver will be on that. And then I was able to get a girl out of Asheville. Her name is Jessica, and she does shibori dyeing and block uh, painting on fabric. And so something different, it's just like
That's
mix it up.
super fun. I was actually, you saw my face change because I follow a few textile artists who are working in Asheville, and I was like hoping it would, but that sounds really cool. I haven't heard of
Yeah.
her stuff.
No, her
So
studio is Wax On, Waxon, and I've taken her classes where she travels to, like, she came to Atlanta and was at a nonprofit place. I can't think of the name. SIFA. So I forgot the full name, but anyway, I did ice dyeing, and that was, it blew me away. I loved it. And so I saw that she packs up all that stuff. She teaches at SAF at our North Carolina. So I'm saying, oh, she could come to a retreat easy. So that's what I thought of. So it's going to be so much fun. So we put it on the website the other day. I think we've got 6 folks already signed up.
and
So
I'm curious, since you said it's 2 sessions, is it kind of like summer camp where people can register for one, the other, or if they want to do it all, they can do both? Or
yes,
is
they
it
can
going to
do
kind of
both.
repeat?
It won't be a repeat. So they could
So
do
that's
both.
great because you can kind of choose your own
Yeah.
length.
So we've got,
Perfect.
let's see, it's the first week in April is how it is, but we're going to run Sunday to Wednesday, and then we'll pick up, and they come in on Thursday to Sunday. So kind of high caveat. They leave on Wednesday, and then they come in Thursday afternoon. So for the next session. So several have already signed up for both weeks. So it's kind of cool. Or
Mhm.
both sessions. So that was that was different. So this is unique. So we're excited about it. So I'll start posting more and everything about it. So it'll be cool. But
Mhm.
yes, I'm excited. But
And
maybe
I
you
think
can.
it's fun to get to learn. We do a lot of stuff. I think sometimes we focus on the things that we really know
Yeah.
at these kinds of retreats, and like it's a great opportunity to branch out and try things that you've never tried before. So
Right.
to have something like ice dyeing, I've always wanted to try. But even like, anything that's like dye related, it's so rare to get the opportunity where you have the space to do that.
Yes.
That's like a really great opportunity.
Yeah. I've got this one piece I've done. I'd love to do more, but I thought I would do more. Then I bought all the stuff, and of course, it sits. In fact, I'm gonna take some of the dye down to me and see if Jessica can use it because it's not gonna get done. And I bought a lot of it, but I like doing different things. So I dabble in watercolor, and I dabble in. I like to just. I don't know. I just like to go make something. I want to do so. Yeah, I think having something different at a knitting retreat just takes your brain, gives it a little break because a lot of it, it's not going to be something you're going to retain, to go do it again. It's just relaxing, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
So,
And especially with the tie dye and like wax dye and stuff, you don't need to do it again because like
no,
you get to make something like with guidance, you can make something that's exactly what you want. You don't need to
mm-mm. And
do it again. It's
that's right. It's just, I don't know. I love it. So I'm
Or I
so
should say, maybe I should say, once you do it, you like have the thing that you want, and you don't need to necessarily do it again, even if you want to, which is
right.
me telling myself that I live across the street from Michael's. So it's me telling myself that I don't need to go out and get more tie-dye supplies just because you said the words ice dye. I don't need to go to Michael's, which is right there, and tie-dye
Mm-mm.
more stuff because all my stuff to be tie-dyed is tie-dyed. Like I can't do more.
I've gone down that rabbit hole, and I'm telling you, I'm taking it to her because I just want it out of my house. I'm not going to throw it away because it's good stuff. But what's that place I go to? Dharma, I think Dharma.
Mhm.
Oh, never.
But have you seen any of the people who do ice-dyed bed sheets?
Oh, I haven't seen the bed sheets.
Because that's a good way if you have some dye and you want to just do something. I've always wanted to do that, but I keep like I don't know. We
it's
manage to like always need new sheets
yeah,
somehow.
yeah.
I must like sleep run or something
No, they just
because
wear
I just wear out the sheet, and it's always the fitted sheet. Obviously, always wears out, and the top one's fine. And then you're like, great, I have a quilt,
out.
and you could ice. I've always wanted to ice dye a quilt top, and
I
then
think
like
it'd be great and beautiful, but golly, that's a lot of work.
well, I don't know because it would. I
It's you've got to find the right
like
container to put it
right,
all
but
in.
the big like imagine those. They're like 20 liters. Like I keep my
Yeah,
yarn in them, and then you take it and you fold it like in it. You fold it into like
yeah.
a pattern, and then you've got all this space to do
The ice and
like
the ice.
fold it
Yeah,
like and I.
it would be beautiful.
Hmm.
I know, and the piece I did didn't look good when I washed it out, and yeah, I'm like, that's not the color. Well, once it got all done, it was gorgeous, and I was it just knowing that that's the thing. I'm good at putting colors together, put the yarn together, right? And I can make put help people all the time, but to dye and to pick the colors from the start, I'll leave that to Keith because I
And
just
each of
am
the
none of
dyes
that.
has it. They
Oh,
split like so, especially with ice dyeing, they're made up of different compounds
yes.
and they split like and that's part of it is the gravity acting differently, but if you don't know your dyes,
Mm,
like part of the thing with that is that people who dye like that they have experience knowing how the dye is going to behave,
right.
and so my dyes, I'm going and getting the tulip one shot cold water whatever, but I got some really good stuff. We tie-dyed with friends. We had friends visit from overseas like California, Belfast, and
Oh my God.
Indiana. And so everyone, right? You got to make a keepsake.
Oh
So we did
wow.
tie dye, and it was actually like it was really fun. And the stuff that I made, because I just at the end threw in my shirts and also a bunch of washcloths that were stained and looked gross, and so we dyed them into whatever was left. They were the cheap tie dye stuff, and they've held up really well. I've been surprised.
That's pretty cool.
Um, it's it worked really well, and it was like it was literally like almost like a birthday for children. We
That's well, see,
bought like the
that's
party
fun.
box
Yeah,
and put out like a big table in the driveway and just like all did the activity. And it was actually a really good, fun friend activity.
that's wonderful. I love that. Yeah, you have to know. And I just, even with yarn dyeing, it's like I've dyed a skein of yarn, and I'm like, I want that pink and that hot pink and the this and the that, and you go and you think you're doing it, and then it didn't. The dyes just turn differently, so it's just like I don't. I'm leaving that to the experts. I will knit or sell the yarn, but do not make me come up with that now. That's just so
And
hard for me.
if I say this, someone who's watching who dyes stuff will know the color that I'm talking about. But there's one of the Jacquard acid dyes for wool where when you mix it hot, it's blue, and when you mix it cold, it's green.
Oh
And
wow.
like, and it, I thought it was fake because you'd think that then you heat it up. Once it's cold, you then heat it up and it becomes blue. No, if you depends on where you mix it, how that color breaks down, and it's I have no idea why, but how would I know that? I wouldn't know that,
Yeah, yeah,
right? It's
yeah.
totally based on like it's someone's experience. They have to be
Well,
pretty experienced with it, even to find that out. Because how would you figure that out?
mm-mm, mm-mm. Yep, that's all they'll do. I'll stay in my lane of knitting and follow your designing, and we'll just it'll be perfect for me. So, but that's wonderful. I love the diversity of everything. Everybody's an expert where they need to be an expert.
Or you don't have to be because if you're just doing like a skein for fun,
Yeah,
it's the summer. Go
e-
outside and have some fun,
exactly.
and then pair it up with something professionally done, nice and solid, and you know,
That's right.
um, then you have your
There
fun
you go.
thing that you did. It doesn't matter if it looks perfect
Right, right.
because you can always put it with something
That's
that the
exactly right.
expert, like an expert like Keith, can make it look next to something.
That's right.
It'll look great.
That looks wonderful. Well, Sandy, thanks for your time. I appreciate every minute and all the things that you've done. And I can't wait to do a meetup in Rhinebeck, but I can't wait to share with you my shawl as I go and I progress through it. So,
I am so excited, and I will keep as everyone is posting. I'm trying to repost so that we can all see what our different flower colors look like. So I'm happy to keep sharing what you're doing
okay.
and make sure that everyone's like seeing all these colors because I'm so excited to see how they turn out.
Thank you. Have a wonderful week and keep designing, keep doing what you do best.
Thank
Have a good
you.
day. Bye.
See you soon.
Uh huh.
Bye.